It's not giving me the option. Hey guys, it is Adam from Marfoogle News. This is part 2. We might be able to edit this together. We are going to be. We just got cut off there while we were talking about the FBI warns of cyber events on U.S. food plants. So don't know what happened there. Okay. And then Dex.
It looks like it made a new one. I'll let everybody know in chat.
Okay. All right. Well, the show must go on. That was weird. It just went. It started buzzing, going on and off. You can tell where. You can tell what you can't say. What people don't realize is that we're dealing with this on a daily basis at this point. All right. Before we get started here, if this is on, if we're live right now, if you head over to marfooglenews.com/prep, the recommendation is obviously that we've obviously given a lot of the context of why people should be prepping right now. Head over to marfooglenews.com/prep. That is through My Patriot Supply. This is an affiliate link, which essentially means when you go purchase something, in some cases, like the 3-month supply, you'll get a $150 discount, and they will also send us a commission. That way, we can keep things running. You get a discount and physical things that you can keep and may even save your life, and it helps our channel. We have a long road ahead of us, and when something happens, the one thing that I don't understand, that people don't understand, is that if you just go, balls to the wall, like so many of our peers have, they disappear from everywhere. They don't just disappear, they're disappeared forever. And you throw away all the work that so many people put into it. All of the mods, everybody who worked on our Discord for a year, everybody that really put this whole family together. So when people really come in, just understand it's bigger than just, people say it's for the money, but when you talk about anything, it is anything news related is now not suitable for all advertisers. That's every video for the last 2 years since JB was put in. So when people say that, or when people try to guess what we make, they're basically taking the money that a camera channel or somebody else would be making, not what we would be making, and then they throw that into the mix. People don't understand how it works covering this stuff. If I wanted to make money, I would go back to banking, or I would start a reaction channel and, start an Ow My Balls show or something. I don't know. But I wouldn't be doing this. All right, let's get back into it. Another fire breaks out at the Trenton DTE plant. Coal feeder fills building. Sky with smoke. The thing that people are talking about is just how many of these compared to the previous last 2 years. There's now been 17 events, and I don't know if this is number 18 because this is fresh. And there has been a lot of these food-related events. So I'll let you guys figure that out on your own. We'll be talking about that on Friday on D-Live on our Mature show. Make sure to join us for that show. And again, that is on Friday. That will be that will be May 1st or May 2nd. So we'll tell you in the next couple days when, what time. And then explosions rock Moldova after Vlad suggests it could be its next target in Europe. So we've talked about the maps that the picture of the Belarusian president basically standing in front of a TAC map, talking about how Moldova was, or basically showing this picture, and it showed an arrow with an actual attack map of essentially troops going in. So we'll talk about this here in a second. Dex, let's get our caller in. Thank you, caller, for waiting through all of that crap. I appreciate you. And then we'll talk about this and the implications that has. And it looks like we have about 1,500 that got back over here. Thank you guys for popping over. I bet there's still people in chat wondering what's going on. All right, so Dex, hopefully all that works out. That has not happened, I think, in 2 years or something. I don't know. It was when we were talking about the David, Mr. Hog with 2 G's.
And Adam, our caller's on the line.
All right, caller, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Adam, this is Joseph Newhouse. How you been?
Hey, Joseph. So, as you probably know, you're a creator. That was not fun.
Right. Yeah, it was spooked me a little bit. But yeah, I'm glad we're back on the air here.
Well,
now
thanks for calling.
I sent Dex a video for you to show.
All right, let's pull it up.
Now, just make sure you pause it right away. I used your music, but it has video clips that you might not want to play through.
Okay, let's see.
And so I'll give you like timestamps if you want to just click around a little bit.
Okay, I'm pulling it up right now. It's nice to hear your voice, Joseph. How are you? How are you doing other than YouTube? How are you doing?
Oh, well, you know, it's YouTube's my main thing right now. But I watch a lot of other channels, and I hear a lot of, just the voices of people, kind of think of it like that. And there's been stuff in the news recently about Jay-Z's hair, and people have been talking about it. And you can click to like 020 about zero. I just have a quick picture of it at 020. And people have been relating it to like Medusa, and that kind of sounds weird from like Greek mythology. But I heard this like just after I had seen these 2 commercials, and it was really strange because the first one was a Medusa commercial. If you click to let's see, 035 or 035, it was this Medusa commercial. And so right after I see this commercial, and it's her buying sunglasses, by the way, which is kind of interesting later.
Oh, I've seen this
commercial
one
for Alfa Romeo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really,
like sunglasses.
really freaky commercial. If you guys have not seen this commercial, what did they look up? Alfa Romeo, or what is the sunglasses company? Is it? It's not Ray-Ban, is it?
No, it was just for like an Amazon. It was an Amazon thing.
Oh, it's creepy as hell.
Like
she turns people to stone or something, or.
But she was like all she needed was the sunglasses, and now she can party, I guess. That was implied in the commercial anyway.
Yeah, that's creepy.
So and right after that, there was another commercial that really kind of made this a little more intense. But before I get there, I talk about the CERN. They restarted the CERN collider, and I heard about this. You can click to 042. There's a little webpage picture. This rainbow serpent, which is in Australia, they were believed to live underneath water holes and to travel between them. And so I thought that's kind of weird. They have at 046, you can see this big thing from the National Museum of Scotland. And but so what I thought was weird is I had also seen this commercial for the new Godzilla movie. If you click to 1 minute, there's the concept image of it, and you see Godzilla's kind of facing off this snaky looking monster. And so I thought it was really weird because, so before I even saw the Godzilla thing, I saw the commercial for Alfa Romeo. And I thought it was strange because you've seen the Alfa Romeo logo, right?
Yeah, it's like, isn't it coat of arms or something?
Yeah, I've got it there at 104, and I guess it's kind of like a coat of arms. So it's like a cross with
it's a snake.
a snake, and so I noticed that it's. You see that?
Yeah. Here, I'll pull it up one more time.
Yeah, 104.
There we go.
But I thought it's kind of interesting because I saw this just before the Godzilla, and in this concept image, they're kind of standing, like two figures, like the snake and the cross, the snaky monster and Godzilla.
I never noticed this, by the way.
As
it's
far
like
as you want
the good and the bad, right?
Yeah. Right.
Ah.
So I looked into it, and it's kind of weird that the first letter, if you click to like 109, I've got the history here, but the first letter in alpha stands for anonymous. And then the second letter, Lombarda, I looked it up, and if you click to 114, it's where the Lombards went. They established a kingdom in the Po Valley, and so it's kind of strange. But if people familiar with modern culture, a Po is like a spirit or a ghost. And I include this clip from The Legend of Zelda. You can click to like 129 or something, 25.
By the way, great job with the screenshots, by the way. Like, this is so... I hope you do this again, too, because this is like perfect how you went through and did all that. A lot of work.
It was a lot of work to figure out how to put this all together. But so when he defeats the Po, you get a compass, and I thought that was kind of strange, like relating to the magnetism, the magnetic field. And then at the end, I also included this clip from one of the X-Men movies. I don't know if it really fits, but I felt that it did. And yeah, the whole thing with the CERN and Jay-Z and Medusa and the Godzilla and it was just strange that all this was like coming at me, like, all these commercials and all this.
I don't think it's strange.
The CERN starting up.
I think once you awake, you can't escape. Once you've taken the red pill, you can't go back to going to sleep. You can't go back to sleep. And once you see the symbology,
I used your song.
The symbols are everywhere.
Yeah, man. Oh, but I used your song from yesterday, so it worked out pretty good.
Oh, well,
so the X-Men
that's awesome.
thing. So all right, so you know how she had to get the sunglasses in the commercial, Medusa?
Yeah.
So it kind of reminded me of the guy in X-Men who has to wear the sunglasses, Cyclops.
Yep.
And I just kind of some interesting stuff there at the end, but I don't know, man.
I'm sure there's probably more stuff in the background. If you look in the background, there's always something. There's something going on. So this is where the normal person looks and they go, oh, this is kooky, right? But once that normal person starts looking for themselves and then learns, if they just were educated on some of the stuff that has happened in the past, if they knew about the actual groups that are verified and that do exist, then you start seeing it everywhere and you go, wow, this could be on a whole nother level, and it's kind of scary. Once you get into it, then it's like it's a whole other reality, because I think that people are on a normal reality scale until they're opened up to another one. I think that's a big part of why they say some that have done hallucinogenics or anything else, they may unlock a part of the brain. Maybe it's just being able to be open to new things that you've never seen with your own eyes. Maybe that's why if you do hallucinogenics, you see something that just doesn't work and you're not asleep, you're awake. Maybe that opens it up to go, well, maybe this could be real, or maybe this could happen, right? I don't know, but I do know that, in my early 20s, I did DMT and ayahuasca, and I think that it most definitely opened my brain up to a couple things. And a lot of people have said that after they did DMT, Elon and others have all, basically they're doing studies that microdosing of hallucinogenics can actually fix a lot of stuff. And they're doing studies into this, and it can also focus people and all this other crazy stuff. If you think about it, most of these things are grown out of the ground, or, they're literally from the earth. So it's just weird how when you are open-minded about this stuff, then it starts really looking like it is an entirely different reality. As far as all of this, it's just nuts.
And that's what I was thinking with the whole, before they were messing with the CERN stuff. Like, I never thought anything of it, but it is kind of strange that, there's all these, like there weren't commercials like this before, I don't know.
Yeah, no, times are weird, man. Well, Joseph, we're going to send everybody over to go check out your video. If you haven't seen Joseph's videos, he goes deep dives into different symbols that he sees throughout entertainment and videos, and sometimes he'll even take subjects, because he really is. He's part of this whole community. He's been he supports all of the channels. I see you all over the place. You're in Jacob Israel's, you're in everywhere, and you support everybody. You show up to all the shows, and then you go on your own deep dives into these subjects, and then you go into the symbols that may have been overlooked, and I think it's really cool. So, again, if you guys haven't checked out Joseph's channel, make sure to go do so. Joseph, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for calling.
Thanks for having me on the show, Adam, and have a good rest of the show.
All right. Well, hope we stay on for the rest of the time. Yeah. Thank you. All right. And then back to the news. So this is all speculation as of now, but there were explosions in Moldova. This is also the area where they thought that maybe this would be the next place after UKR that would be taken, right? Well, most people are saying, well, UKR isn't even taken yet. They're not done taking UKR. Well, at the same point, maybe that's because they haven't even started yet. I don't know. I just feel like this is it. A lot of folks don't believe anything they hear, and I don't blame them. But I do think that there's a major event happening. That is one thing I do believe. I am very hesitant too. I see the media and I see how they glorify one side and put the other side down. You look at their media, they're doing the same thing. They're both using the same kind of tactics, and it's really, really hard to believe anything that you hear right now. That's why I say don't. Just don't. Be very reserved and go with your gut and try to kind of look around the object and see how many things match up with it. Because when you see something and you see a news story and it just completely doesn't make sense, and you see everything around it doesn't seem like this is a common sense answer, then it's probably not. But right now, they're just shameless. They'll tell you something is true, 3 days later admit that they were totally lying or that they were totally wrong, but they still tell you at that time. They'll blast it over every single news and say this is verified, trustworthy, everything else. Then people talk at the coolers. They do it for 3 days until they need a different narrative, and then they'll just change it right back. And they go, well, we only thought that because we did have verified. Now we have double verified information. We're giving you the truth now. They keep changing the truth. The truth keeps altering as you go along. That's why it's actually, it's not really that great to cover brand new, fresh, anything current events, because it takes a few days for the truth to come out. You cover things on the moment, people watch that video in 3 days and you look like an idiot. Because in 3 days, they're like, oh, it turned out to be nothing, right? Shoot, in 2 hours after something happens, I'll cover like for 15 minutes, they were evacuating the U.S. cap, right? Everybody was leaving because a plane was unidentified and was flying over. It was literally like 2 hours after it happened. Within 30 minutes, people that were seeing the all clear and the false alarm, which, by the way, after 15 minutes, I posted the false alarm. People were like, nothing happened. Nothing ever happens. It will never happen. And I'm like, I reported that at the time, like as fresh as it gets, and it doesn't matter. People after half an hour and anybody in 4 days from now, they go back and see that. They're like, oh, this is nothing. It's like, well, yeah, now it is, but at the time it wasn't. That's why we're hesitant to, like, when something's fresh, we want to make sure that we know as much as we can before we communicate it, because if you don't have the whole story, it's bad. So I would hold off on judgment of this until we get, a lot more information. But it does say that authorities in Moldova are gathering Tuesday for an urgent security meeting following a series of blasts in a aligned separatist region. Just days after Vlad, one of Vlad's generals, suggested that the country could be next target of Moscow's military aggression. Now, remember, that other general is also somebody who kind of pushed towards that Moldova would be the first or next target outside of UK, right, or UKR. And that was on top of the Belarusian president standing in front of the map, which clearly showed current troop placement. It actually showed people from, like, what was it, Fort? It wasn't Fort Lewis. It was Fort McCord or something, and it actually showed active U.S. troops and where they were on this map he was standing in front of. And it was a 10-foot map, and it was actually printed. It wasn't a projection. It wasn't, edited in. It was a 10-foot, 12-foot printed map that they had printed just for this meeting. So it was basically like them going over these things, and somehow they got a picture of him literally standing like this. So that's why a lot of us said this is propaganda, because why would he let somebody get a picture of some secret attack map? Well, maybe it wasn't so secret. They were trying to let you know that. They're telegraphing their moves. I don't know. That's why nobody believes anything, because it's like, so when you see that story, when you see a story and you see this picture, how did a bunch of generals and people that are obviously top security clearance in their own country, if somebody pulls out a damn cell phone or a camera, that guy's going to be hung. Like, what are you doing, jackass? Was it some sort of secret pen cam? No, I doubt it. It looked like the guy was posing for a picture. So when you see that story, it must make you go like, at first people go, oh my gosh, Moldova's on there and they're going to attack. You should be asking, why is this picture even here? Why did this get out? It's crazy. Says you can still watch it on Odyssey in the best UKR. Oh, yeah. Definitely follow that suggestion. And then why does want is real? Question it all says wide awake and angry. Yes. Agree with that. All right, and then let's see here. That is weird. I'm missing some of my things are gone here. Hold on. Oh, man, what the heck happened with this, man? Talk about the fires and they just... you just disappear off the internet. Dex, I don't know if you can. I know that you're probably on the phone. Again, you guys can call in at 224-400-MARF. Dex, I don't know if you can get me the channel stuff. That all dropped out, so I can't see anything over on YouTube. And then looks like Restream is not updating that. It looks like Moody Mom, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Survival Living, you don't have to do that, man. I got to make one of your lives. Now I'm going to have to get you back big time. Thank you again. I appreciate that, Survival Living. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, do so. By the way, I shout you out whether you do that or not, so you don't need to do that. Simply Pony, thank you. Moody Mama. Bible Talk 777 says the sun is cranking up the sun. The SON is cranking the SUN. Welcome all new fam. Be Real Beast. Again, thanks for doing that on several occasions. I appreciate you welcoming the new people. And then everybody else, thank you for being patient with tonight's issues. Like, that's just unacceptable. All right, and then
I check screener if those are the 2 links you want or not.
Yes, the one was. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mad Cow Group, Franco, and Chris G. Thank you for going over to PayPal. I appreciate your support. And Darren C., thank you so much for subscribing. Bilbo Baggins just subscribed. What's going on, Bilbo? Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the Foogle fam. All right. So let's get over to this. Sorry, guys. That just messed me up. Now I'm going to have to get my brain back on track. It's not easy. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. The second my 2-year-old went to sleep at 2, then my 1-year-old woke up. It was like the second she went to sleep, he woke up, and then I was up until like 6:30, and then I got like 2 hours of sleep, and then had to be up again when my 7-year-old went to school. So I'm double-fisted my Diet Coke and my coffee. And then we've got Cascading Risks. The U.S. is vulnerable to an electromagnetic pulse attack. We have covered this for years. We've warned everyone about this by now. Most people should know what about this is and why people need to prepare for this. Again, it says Russia's invasion of UKR has brought renewed attention to the danger of a potential nuclear conflict. Some have warned of worst-case scenarios, arguing that if Vlad doesn't get his way in UKR, that his country could employ nuclear weapons against its enemy, perhaps drawing more countries into the conflict. However unlikely that may feel at the moment, Western nations should recognize that the stigma against nuclear weapons is somehow broken. The situation could quickly cascade into something much larger and much more menacing. Now, we're going to put over into web only, by the way. There's some rumors flying around about something that's going on in one of these countries with nuclear things, but it is not verified, so we'll put that over on web only. For those of you who want to go down that rabbit hole, you can. But we're not going to talk about something that's purely and utterly rumor at this point. I think it's somewhat believable given the past of the U.S. and every country that has basically done Fantastic Freddy's on many occasions. So again, we'll put that over in web only. But other than that, even if something does go down, even a tactical is used, a very small yield nuclear weapon is used in UKR, that could very easily bring in everybody else. One thing I would say is look at Finland, look at Sweden. What do you think is being told to them at meetings to get them to join NATO? What do you think that even the lower level leaders are being told to justify all of this action, right? Some of these may have access to satellites and real information. What are they being told, right? Do you think they all are just going off of, somebody's word? Or do you think some of them have the tech to actually, see what the heck is really going on? It says beyond traditional uses of boom booms, nuclear weapons could be deployed in a tactical manner against energy and communication systems. The U.S. government has explored how an electromagnetic pulse attack could occur by detonating a nuclear weapon in mid-stratosphere. If such a bomb were set off over America's heartland, it could unleash an EMP large enough to destroy electronics and knock out power across much of the continental United States. This sounds less threatening than a nuclear boom boom going off in American City, but the long-run effects could bring similar or worse devastation. An EMP could even be a complement rather than a substitute to a nuclear assault on American City. So not saying that this will be instead of, it will be in addition to. It says an EMP attack was the topic of a best-selling novel called 1 Second After by William Forstchen. Well, a work of fiction, the book described the possible sequence of events that could follow an EMP attack on America, and the pulse would immediately fry electronics across the country, shut down large swaths of the American power grid, Some might die in the first moments after the attack, for example, as automobile electronics stop working, causing people to drive off of roads. But these are relatively few initial deaths are likely to pale in comparison to those that would follow in the weeks and months after the high-altitude explosion. Without automobiles, food stocks at supermarkets would dry up, and without refrigerators, food would begin to spoil. Seniors in nursing homes would go without necessary medications, looting would set in, even those with foresight to set aside food, weapons, or other provisions in preparation for a calamity would quickly find themselves under siege from those who had not made similar preparations. Today, only a few countries have the capabilities to launch an EMP-style attack on the United States. Russia and China could, as they have nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missile technology to deliver them. It's not to envision smaller countries like NK or IR developing similar abilities, as well as eventually organizations, which now we know that NK can do it a different way. They can drop it from one of their 2 satellites that actually already go over the U.S. They also have tested a possible FOBS or fractional orbital bombardment system. It says a further concern is that with EMP there is a strong incentive to attack first because the initial blow can be crippling. The first striker has a huge advantage. This makes EMP strategy more like cyber warfare than Cold War nuclear strategy. During the Cold Conflict, the U.S. and the USSR relied on the principle of mutually assured destruction. Neither was reckless enough to launch a nuclear attack on the other because it would result in a devastating counterattack. This logic may not work with EMP attacks if the initial strike is sufficiently ruinous. Individual citizens can take some limited precautions. Electronic devices can be hardened, backup transformers can be stockpiled, and backup electronics can be stored in a Faraday protection cage. It may also be reasonable to keep a supply of food on hand that won't spoil. So for some of the very small percent of you probably don't know this, though, all of the things that would go wrong, most people hear 90% of us would perish, and they go, whoa, how? Is everybody just going to take each other out? No, that is from not having water. That's why we always tell you to go get a water filtration system and to always, if you can, protect your stuff. This is why we have been telling people and showing you the evidence of why you should get protected against EMP and all of this. Again, that's why we started working with EMP Shield. But as far as this goes, the whole world is talking about this. Dex, if you want, I would love for you to pop in too, because we had a long conversation about this. We're actively prepping our own families for this right now because it is one of the most likely out of all the crazy scenarios. This one's not so crazy. In fact, it looks like the U.S. is preparing for exactly this, and they're not being loud about it. The stuff that's on the back burner and being done in quiet, that's the stuff that you got to look at. Dex.
Hey, Adam.
So as far as we talked a long time about as far as all of the EMP and how they are talking about nukes everywhere right now. And now basically it's coming from all directions.
Yeah, we have covered, I don't know how many times we have talked about tacticals on our show. It's numerous times. We've heard it from the East and the West. We've heard from, the Bear Country laughing on air, talking about using hypers to take out, NYC or other cities, and they just giggle about it on air. We've heard, the numerous threats, even up to today, yesterday, the days before, about how critical, these threats are. And then we've got also a lot of stuff going on in the rumor mill, like you said, that we're putting on the website in web only, about other actions that may be happening that are extremely on the fringe edge. But if it's true, it sort of all seems to be coming back to this notion that, something is brewing when it comes to the nuclear side, right? Like it should not be a shock if, if we see something happen, because at this point they have said it so many times, it shouldn't be coming out of left field. That doesn't mean that's an open invitation, and it's not necessarily, what anybody wants to see happen. But when you look at what's being said, and certainly I take it pretty seriously. I mean, I've done numerous things with my family and in our own preps to make sure that we're, prepared for things that we didn't think of. I mean, it's not that we didn't think of them, but 20, 30 years ago, yeah, I bet you would worry about that stuff. And then for a long time we didn't. We worried about different types of things, economic collapse, other stuff, right? But now here we are back at this age again, where we have the real potential threat of nuclear being used, either in small form or even in large form.
And this is just a message for everybody that has stuck around for a very long time. As you have seen, we have looked at the patterns time and time again. It's getting to be like this is... So we also have active and retired military in our groups. We do not pass along a ton of the stuff because we want to make sure that some of it, we have to make sure that it's verified by others. Or if we hear it from 10 of our verified military members, then, it's something. And usually that thing is usually an email that everybody gets or something. We'll pass along the information from that. And that's not so secretive. Some of the stuff is really shocking. And so we have had a military member, one in particular, and I sent us some stuff that was 100% accurate and would have 100% gotten either him or us in trouble. This was probably last year. Sent stuff, and I looked at it and I said, that's silly. Then it happened. And I said, holy crap, that was a real thing. There's things like that come in, but we didn't get a second source on, so we didn't break it. And I'm not trying to go serve in prison for, giving information out that I'm not supposed to. That's not, I've got 4 kids. I think about them when I think about any decision I make, any decision, whether it be YouTube related or out there. It's like, I really do worry about that because I didn't have a dad. So I worry about that, and I worry about my health and everything else. That's why I'm trying to keep myself as healthy as possible and other things. But as far as this goes, being serious outside of the show, I hope that people end up getting some sort of plan together, because some of the things that we're getting now would, if, again, like that same person said other things that are definitely freaky. There are several people that have said things recently, and there are things out there that I would not repeat, and those things are starting to get a little more serious. So I guess my real warning to people is heed the fact that there are serious things going on. No matter what side you think they're on or what show they're putting on, the results are going to be real. That is my belief, and that is the belief of many others. And if you don't know, we did have a Discord at one point. It got taken down because what was being shared before that day where everybody dropped their things in the box, us and many other groups that were bigger groups got knocked off of Discord. We didn't do anything. We never even posted anything. We just put rooms together for every state to meet. We had meetings, upwards of 150, 160 people meeting in person under this channel in every state. Some states were, as low as 8 people would meet every other Saturday. Some were 20, 30. Most were around 20, 30 people would meet in person, and they would talk about prep. They would talk about whatever they wanted. They would have barbecues. They would go to the park. That was the real Foogle fam. That was like, if there's a lot of you that were there for that. Everybody misses it. We have tried to come up with a system like that because I think we need a system like that. I cannot believe that I didn't even do that one, and I still can't do that. Under the name, we can't. They didn't do it for any reason. We didn't personally share anything. They should have gotten rid of the users that shared whatever they thought was bad. But my point is, and then we try to do our own, and it's like... They make it virtually impossible to do it without putting your own responsibility up there. If we put up a platform, we are responsible for everything you share. We could basically be canceled for somebody sharing a fake news article. My point is at this point, we need to tell you to personally handle your family business and your direct relatives, or if you're alone, then get your stuff in order. Who cares if people around you are saying you're crazy or that's stupid or you got a tinfoil hat? Don't worry about other people. Other people that, you know, if they're not doing something positive, they're not doing. Don't worry about what they say. Worry about you, worry about your family, worry about your kids, and don't go overboard. Make smart decisions. Think about every decision you make. Don't just go sell your house and live out in the woods, because it could be 2 years from now. We don't know. It could be 5 years from now. But something massive is happening. If you don't believe me, look around you. We went through 2 years of all this stuff, and all of this stuff is coming out, which we all already knew. So think about what they're doing next with this. This was rumored before the 2016. They said if somebody else won, that this would have happened already, right? Well, now it's happening. So I think the end result is what we thought the end result was going to be in probably 2018. Maybe this is delayed. And it's lining up with all of the other things on the docket as far as our life is going to change dramatically. People like myself most likely will not be speaking in 2 years. So while you have the ability to, go get yourself prepped. Dex, I hope that resonates with some of you, especially those of you that have been with us long enough. Before CV started, we told you it looks like that 3-letter agency is getting ready for a demic. Now it looks like every country in the world is preparing for the next thing. And it's a very simple pattern. It's not hard to see, but they're constantly bombarding you saying, it won't be this, it won't be that. By the way, just look up into any search engine. It's not going to be WW3. Just type that in, and you'll find it's in every speech for the last 4 months. They're bombarding you with, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, and somehow it's drilled into people's heads where they just think that's the truth. Let's go to our next caller, Dex. It looks like, again, thank you everybody for being patient. And while you get the caller on the phone, I'm gonna get my side lined up here. Thank you everybody that has stuck with us for this long. And I again, if you have not went over and checked out EMP Shield, this is the actual way you can protect yourself against any kind of digital, and as far as digital attacks such as an EMP that would come from a nuclear device, or again, a fractional orbital bombardment system, all the stuff that we've talked about previously. You can actually protect anything that you want to keep running after an EMP or a CME from the sun. One of those two is bound to happen. In fact, the solar event is guaranteed to happen. It's just a matter of when. You can actually protect anything, your car, your house, your motorcycle, your generators, your solar systems, even your ham radio within an EMP Shield. This is the same company that T-Man, when he signed that executive order, DHS, DOD, and the DEMSO team from the Texas grid ended up calling up companies like this. In fact, EMP Shield was directly referenced by the Department of Homeland Security's EMP Resilience Report. During that, EMP Shield went from a tiny company with one building, hand making them in Kansas. After they got that contract, they started just expanding like crazy, because basically they were asked to start trying to harden the whole grid. So one thing to say, though, is that that is not going as fast as we all want as civilians. It's going to take years and years to get to the point where our grid is not horribly vulnerable. So go over and check it out, marfooglenews.com/EMP. Every time that you go purchase one, you will get $50 off, and that includes per device. So if you get two, that's $100, $350, and so on. Every time you do that, you will be supporting our independent channel here, our tiny channel. Thank you. All right, and then Dex, looks like we have Login to God.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hey, good. Log into God. That's a cool screen name. What's going on?
You. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you crystal clear.
Awesome. So, yeah, basically I just wanted to share that I have put a channel up for you guys, for all of us to basically keep our minds on the ball. You know, we don't really have to talk about it, but there are behind forces that are taking action and making these things happen. And if you're interested to find out who's responsible and what's really going on, it's all there for you guys. Over 100 videos, and I'm going to keep on uploading. It's hard to get all of the content on there because, you know, they don't necessarily appreciate it, or they don't like all of it. So I put as much as I can, and it's still all there, so you guys can check it out. And Marv, I've been with you since you were crying in the car video, I remember praying for you in that moment, thinking to myself, man, this guy really, you know, I got to help this guy get where he wants to go, God, you know. And it's just kind of funny to watch it manifest, you know, and turn into something real. And it's all about, you know, the intention of the heart, you know. And if you intend good things for others, you can bless them, because we're all here to bless each other. And that's just what life's about. That's why we're here, to support each other, be a part of each other's lives. So,
well, at some point,
that's pretty much all I was.
I'd love to show,
Mm-hmm.
like, when.
Sorry.
So, by the way, if people don't know the context to that, I want to say you are talking about when my work found out that I was a certain side of the aisle. They basically told me that I could either take a minimum wage demotion or I could resign. They basically told me, like, you leave or you take a regular, you know, it was like, you know, I don't know what it was, $11 or something an hour, which I have multiple kids and I had a really good job. And they told me that that I had that choice. And that's purely because they found my channel. They saw something that they didn't like. And they said that social media represents companies and all of this. And I didn't even say anything offensive. It was just that the owners were extremely one direction, not the band. But
Well,
I remember that.
I see that they couldn't stop you because, you know,
well,
you were meant to do that.
I just want to let you know there were so many emails. For months, that video back then, it was like, I don't even know. It probably only had 40 or 50,000, maybe 100,000. And we've had 1 million view videos and stuff. But that video, it was like every person that watched it emailed me. Every person reached out, and probably some of them are still here. They emailed me, and so many people prayed for me. So many people had my back then. And those people are here today. Like, those people are the people that those people changed my life.
We're all here for you, Marv. We all are. All of us love you, brother. Some of us were here, and we were lucky to be there to experience that moment with you. And that's a bond that we have now, and we'll always have. And that's a great thing. I feel very blessed to have that. But, you know, we're all special, and we all see you. And we're all going to get your back. You know what I'm saying? We're all here for you guys.
Well, thank you. Log into God. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for sticking around. And we will send people over your way. Again, log in to God, all one word.
Thank you, guys. It's always a blessing to watch your show. The mods, everybody that's a part of this family, get ready. Just be ready, because we love life after this, and it never changes again. Anyways, thank you, guys, and I look forward to watching the show.
Well, have a wonderful night. Log into God. Appreciate you, and have a wonderful night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marv out. All right, and then we have China reports first human case of H3N8 bird. I think we actually talked about this just as it wasn't even a prediction. It was more of a pattern, like just watch. This is going to have a first case type of thing. It may have been a different strain, but we talked about the option or the potential for one of these countries breaking out. And it says that Xi's country has recorded the first human infection with the H3N8 strain of the country's health authority said on Tuesday, April 26, but said that the risk of it spreading among people was low. A 4-year-old boy from central Henan province was found to have been with the variant after developing a fever and other symptoms on April 5th. Okay, so people wake up. Any one of these could be the next thing, whether it is or not. When this pops up, and it pops up in a province there, of course people are thinking like, okay, is this going to be another ride? If you remember just a week ago, and I think it's almost less predictive programming and more like, well, I guess you could call it predictive programming. People don't really understand that's like putting out the future. It's getting people used to an idea, so when it happens, they're not surprised, and when you're not surprised, you don't ask questions. What happens if somebody does a surprise party for you? You go, oh my gosh, when did you guys do this? How did you guys do this? Start asking questions, you're shocked. What? I can't believe you did this. But instead, if you knew about that party 2 weeks in advance and every day people have been talking about it, you walk in, you're going to go, oh, hey guys, well, I kind of knew. It's okay. And you're not going to ask any questions either. I feel like a lot of this stuff is like this because they get you used to the idea way before it happens. That's why a lot of folks think that, some sort of alien being or alien ship, they're going to say that it's going to come down and something's going to happen, or we're going to have communications with UFOs because they keep talking about it, right? Well, one thing they just talked about recently, and this is a pattern. And you can go back to this in a couple years from now if the next time we're all covered up in every store. They keep saying Redford, Gates, and others have all said just recently the next big one is going to be from the birds. Dex, I just want you to... It was Redford that said birds, right? That birds would be the next one?
Yeah, it was Robert Redfield. He was
Redfield.
the former head of Cat Dog Cat during the demic. Most people will recognize him. He's the guy that had the beard with no mustache.
Every time I hear the name Redfield, I think of Resident Evil from back in the PlayStation days. I forget, what was it? Something, I feel like it was Robert Redfield or something, which just happens to be the story of evil corporation accidentally creating a thing that turns people into zombies. And U.S. won't rule out military action if Xi establishes base in Solomon Islands. Everything is set up pre-hand, and there are so many what-ifs that the official narrative puts out that by the time anything does happen, it's like we already accepted. It's been baby-fed to us. Justin True, what's going on, man? Is that was that Justin True, or were you sharing Justin True's link? Justin True, thank you for stopping by, man. If you guys haven't checked out he through just all the stuff we've went through, drama or not, Justin True has stuck around with us this entire time and always stayed neutral, even just in the crappiest of crap. So thank you, Justin True. I appreciate that. He's a Hawaiian guy, and he's just really cool. Most Hawaiians are, though. Jaystone78, thank you. Douglas Stout, The Watchman, Luke Z, the aliens are fallen angels. I know a lot of people are divided on what they are. I'm more saying that, they would tell us that that's happening, right? Crop Duster says, I just remember all those people dropping in G land when this whole thing started. Yeah, remember when everybody's shaking, sprouting legs, and all sorts of stuff. But a lot of those ended up being fake videos, right? But it did scare the crap out of us back when it was new. It was scary. Yeah, somebody said Robert Redford. That's totally different. Yeah, I know. Robert Redford's the actor, right? And then Umbrella Corporation says Luke Z. Correct. Yes. What a great game back in the day when that first came out on PlayStation 1. If you were there for that, then those were magical times. And now if you look at that game on a PlayStation 1, it's crazy. That was like the best graphics in the world back then. Now we're in now full circle. Now they're doing Resident Evil in VR, and you're actually in the world. Pretty crazy. Moody Mom, what's going on? Raccoon City, LOL, recalcitrant. There's lots of symbolics in that game as well. And then Sapphire 1961, thank you. And thank you, everybody that popped over. Blue Dazzlebug, thank you for your support. Uper Viking says, I've read that entire series. A must-read for preppers. Scary accurate. God bless you all. Southern Boy Prepper says, enjoy your show always. Thank you, Southern Boy. And thank you for sticking around as well. You've been here for at least a few years now. And then Moody Mom, thank you again. Survival Living Simply Pony, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you. Thank you for making it basically every single show. So thank you. And Be Real Beast, again, thank you. Over on D Live, everybody that has popped in, I appreciate all of you. I thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. All right, and then Taiwan aims to learn lessons of UKR in annual military drills. Dex, do you actually want to cover this? I know that you've had your hands full for the last few minutes here.
Yeah, and hey, I had a comment too on the prior one, specifically about this whole Solomon story. It's one thing for us to, and it kind of goes hand in hand with Taiwan. We talk a lot about Taiwan and how we think we're supposed to protect them. We have agreements that say we're supposed to protect them or at least provide them with what they need. But we also abide by this one G policy, if you want to call it that. And we acknowledge that exists too, right? So that's totally different with the Solomon Islands. In the Solomon Islands, this is about Australia, right? It's one of our greatest, strongest allies, no different than say our allies in Europe, right? Especially the main ones, right? So, if that line is crossed down in Solomon, there should be no question that we would be engaged because Australia will be, as well as all of their allies, right? Whereas when you look at something like Taiwan, there's like this gray area. Like we talk about it all the time. It's like, well, will we? Should we? We say we will. We say we spend, money. We send over equipment. We have delegations, but then we also back off whenever we call them a country by accident, and we, tell the dragon country we're sorry for doing it, right? So, I guess the big question here with Taiwan, and back to the story, is, we're pumping in tons and tons of equipment into UKR, and it's almost like it's not too little too late, but it's definitely happening after the fact, not necessarily in preparation. And if you know that this is going to potentially happen in Taiwan, should we be pumping in tons and tons of equipment and additional training in advance? So it's not something we do after the fact. And does that help prepare them to take on a potential invasion like UKR did does it help them if we do this in advance and spend money on it in advance? So I think that's really the question that's being asked, and sort of the dichotomy and the difference between these different situations with Solomon, with Australia, and with Taiwan, and our own, potential defense of it, right?
If by the time it happens, we would be too late. By the time, if we do not have troops already there and actually just fully commit and say, hey, you're not going to be taking Taiwan, which we haven't said. We've even backtracked on things that clarified them as a country. We have, and by we, I mean the USA, has posted tweets and then taken it back, basically taking back their tweets, confirming, Taiwan as its own entity, right? So that's not the kind of move you would do if you would also later on go, yeah, we're going to fight, tooth and nail a full WW3 so you don't take this place. No. And it doesn't seem like that's going to happen either, because JB is now talking about making our own semiconductor chip factory here, making everything in America, which, that guy doesn't care about making things in America. All he cares about is, basically keeping his job and getting to the next milestone and being the puppet that all of these guys are. They're not going to go to conflict, not over Taiwan. It's going to be over something else. And now other countries are making the U.S. just look horribly weak. And it's not even the U.S. that's weak. It's the leadership. And I'm not even being specific. It's the whole thing. The whole system is falling apart. And it's falling apart because financially, we're in debt to all these people. All these other countries make everything we use. If you don't believe me, go look at the data from 1979, from when Xi opened his doors, when they opened their doors to capitalism, let their people make money for the first time. They could, like a person could own a business, right? They didn't really own it because the country could take it back at any point, but they could start their own businesses. They could make their own money. They could make their own decisions as far as all that goes. They expanded. And then back in the day, what everybody's mind was is anything that was made over there was just complete garbage, right? Well, as they started having more places and all these dollar store items that you would see made over there, well, then more and more companies got greedier and greedier and greedier. And these bigger companies were like, well, we have to have a certain quality, but we don't want to pay labor. So what they did is they said, well, we want better quality from you guys, but we want your labor. So they sent their companies and they sent their technology over to G. And this is worldwide. All of these countries said, oh, well, there's no labor costs, or virtually, their labor is just absurd low. People are literally getting at one point peanuts and paid nothing for whole days of work. We want your labor with our quality. And that's when, I don't think people realize this, but a lot of that was paid for by other world countries, and they were shipping all of their building and manufacturing supplies, including their blueprints, their technology, over to Xi. And now they actually have a manufacturing force and the technology and high quality production that nowhere in the world does. And that's only recently kind of set in. Everybody says, oh, it won't last long because it's made over there. Well, guess what? The same place that makes your high-end stuff, that building has been moved over there for the labor. And it's now owned by them. Go ahead.
Adam, I was just going to say, I put that map that I think you're referring to in Screener.
Oh, it's shocking. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. And for anybody that missed the show, because I know people do not, cannot watch 2-hour show 5 days a week. Watch this video, and this is going to open your eyes. Anybody who knows what I'm about to show you knows exactly what I am talking about. So hold on here. Let's just make sure we got this. Check this out. This is in 1979 to 2020. Okay, it's going through the years. 1991, blue is the U.S. More countries are doing trade with the U.S. Blue, right? Red is you know who. And light blue is neutral. So check that out. In 2018, look at that. So I'm gonna play this one more time, but keep in mind, in 1979, almost the entire world is trading with the U.S. Now watch as it progresses. And all of these countries, they're doing greater trade with Xi over us. Okay? And people are still wondering who's behind all of this. People are still thinking that they're backwards and that we're the most powerful, thinking that we are the most powerful, the richest, and everything else. Think about how many billionaires are now being produced. They have now outproduced us of billionaires in cities like Shanghai. Shanghai is doing, more billionaires than, different places in New York, right? This is what's happening. And people don't think they're involved in all of this. It's almost like Vlad is the proxy between the conflict between us and Xi. Like Vlad is the little guy compared to the. And if you look at their GDP, Vlad, their whole GDP is less than that of the state of New York. But they put so much of that into military. Whereas Xi, US and Xi are 1 and 2. Number 3, it's not Japan or Vlad or any of these other major powers. It's BlackRock. The company. The same company with Vanguard and everybody else that owns everything that has just happened in the last 3 years, including everything medical. People are going to wake up soon, and it's going to be a scary scenario. It says Taiwan will incorporate lessons learned from an invasion of UKR into upcoming military exercises aimed at practicing fighting off a attack from the Big Island, right? Well, if we're not over there, when it happens, it's going to be too late. They'll already take the whole island. So unless we see a huge, huge deployment sitting in the 100 miles between Xi and them, which we're not, there's no stopping it. There would be taking it back from them, and that would lose hundreds of thousands of lives. I mean, if JB isn't going to go in and take people out of Afghanistan, I highly doubt that he's going to save these people. So Taiwan would not be the greatest place to live right now. Especially if they're looking at Hong Kong and going, this isn't going to end well. All right, let's. It's unbelievable what's been going on over this much time. All right, let's get Jennifer on. And while you're getting Jennifer on, do want to remind you, if you haven't checked out, go over to Energy and check out all of the solar generators. These, again, are silent. An Energy solar generator is running everything that we have here, my 2 power bars, my lights, my music gear, and even my router. So if the power does go out, the show can go on. Not only the show, we can stay in our house now because of this generator. And we actually have 4 100-watt panels, which isn't great, but again, it isn't, it's not enough to power my whole house, but it is enough for us to stay in 1 to 2 rooms and basically weather out any storm. We can power pretty much anything we need. If we're not powering the entire house, we can get by. Again, this is, and I intend to actually get more batteries. I want to get another base unit at some point. This is really cool because it is modular. You can actually stack not 1, 2, 3, 4 batteries. You can actually stack and put side by side 96 batteries. Again, this is an incredible system. Normally, if you buy a solar generator, you're only stuck with what's in it. This is really cool because you can add mods. You can even add a mod that triples the input. It can have incredible input. Say if you wanted, if you're not happy with, one battery in one box, and you're charging it with 4 100-watt panels like I am, you can get a mod and then plug in 12 panels and charge it 3 times as fast. That is something that is really cool. Or you could add 2 batteries and then do that and charge it at the same time. Mine charges in full about 3.5 hours with the quick charger. It's really freaking amazing. You can also power it from the wall. So again, even if you don't buy any solar panels, you can always have this charged. Say, plug it into your wall while you do have power, and when the power goes out, you can, of course, use this. They have all sorts of accessories that essentially can plug in and that are extremely low watt. They even have stoves that are low watt. They have lights. They have chain lights that would, power and light your whole campsite. And the fact is, they're portable. Portable, silent. Nobody's going to hear them and say, hey, the guy down the street's got a generator. Let's go jack him. Instead, they're not going to hear it at all. And it will be inside your house protected because you can actually run these inside. Go to marfooglenews.com/energy. This is one of those items where certain parts in this are not made in the United States. So there is a list to get one of these. If you are the kind of person that basically doesn't get the knockoffs or the low end stuff, and you want to get the one, this is it. It's again one of the most coveted solar generators out there. It is one of the most high quality, and it's one of the smartest charging systems out there. Not to mention, it doesn't matter how much time you need, you can get it from this one. You want 96 batteries or one, it's up to you. All right, Dex, let's get Jennifer on. Jennifer, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Adam.
How are you doing, Jennifer, and what's going on?
Good. Well, when you had the Alfa Romeo logo up, it just struck me that it was very similar to a family crest of everybody's favorite doctor in America nowadays, Dr. S.
No way.
And I think Nick sent you a picture of them side by side, but he has a family crest on his mom's side. I think it's his mom's side. That, to me, it bore a striking resemblance with one specific thing. So if you see that snake on the Alfa Romeo, it's not as evident on the Alfa Romeo logo as it is on the family crest, but to me, it's similar enough. So the thing right in front of the snake's mouth
is a person.
Yeah, you probably have to zoom in on that one. Yep, it's a child.
Oh, no.
And then look at the Alfa Romeo one again. Anyway, that struck me, the similarities. And on the
oh my gosh,
on the car one, you can only
no way. I thought it was like a flame, but it's a person going like this. Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
That's what I thought too.
And then if you go into the meaning of alpha and then the anonymous lumbar of all that, and it's like, whoa, because we're not talking about the car here. We're talking about the symbols, and then that actually coincides with that. And this, of course, was, and yeah, where this comes from and the history of all of the stuff that went down there, you could see why they had this kind of symbology. That is just nuts. Good catch. Did you just did you see that prior and you say, wait, that's the symbol that was on this?
Yeah, no, I just saw it on your show tonight. I was like, wait a second, that's crazy. So I thought I would call in and just let you know. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but to me it's similar enough that it's the same. In my head, it's the same thing. And if you know what they're doing, and you know all their sick practices, then it's even more disgusting. So. And
then look, they're carrying 2 black buckets of gold. No,
yeah.
We will make sure that this is shared on our website. Thank you, Jennifer, for popping that open. What a crazy,
Yeah.
what a crazy connection there. Well, thank you, Jennifer, and I appreciate you.
I know, right?
It's your first time. I hope it's not your last.
It is my first time, and I just want to say I love what you guys do, and God bless you and your families.
Well, God bless you as well, Jennifer. Thank you so much for calling in. And then, by the way, Jennifer's, the pictures here will be on marfooglenews.com. You'll be able to access all of that over there. And you can go see the family tree. You can see the logo there as well, and you can look at them side by side. Yeah. Not surprised. Matthew Rasdell, thank you for subscribing. Uper Viking, another longtime Foogle fam. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Somebody said, don't pay attention to the haters. So one thing I would say is, like, first of all, if somebody is hating and they're not creating, that's a huge thing. If somebody's only creation is the tearing down of somebody else's creation, then logically I don't know why anybody would be like, so then do it better. I started this channel because I was watching particular people in this niche, and I was fascinated, and I spent all my time watching YouTube videos, and I said, why are these people, what are they doing, So I started my own channel, and I tried to do it better. That's literally how I started. I said, man, these people do not, they're not. I said, this is wrong. I can correct that. And I went on video and did it myself. So if you don't like it, you can always start a channel. There's 2 billion of them. I think we're doing something right if we've got 2 channels that hit 100,000 in the top 0.00%. So what's funny is usually the haters are other truthers that copy exactly what we do. Thug Blaster, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. Moody Mom, Simply Pony, Survival Living, thank you so much. Be Real Beast, Ninja Squirrel, Preppermint, That Gen X Dude, Pam Ben, Zippy Moons, K-Rec, and ENG, 1142, Joanne Thompson, and Praiser. All right, Dex, do you want to go over the web-only content?
Absolutely. So head over to marfooglenews.com, click on the thumbnail for the show, or open up that description on YouTube and click on that show notes link. It'll take you right here. Get the rest of the story. There's a lot going on. A little bit of an update with the stuff going on with the Hill, Uri, and all that nonsense, which a lot of buzzwords in there I don't want to say. There's definitely some updates with Elon. So if you guys, didn't get enough of all the coverage with Elon, you can get a little bit of updates on what has happened with within the company, some employees that are distraught, some other people that are distraught. You can find out what's happening there. More updates on these fires that have been happening. Another one in General Mills that happened in a roof. So you can find out more about that. And much, much more. So plenty of other topics, things that are too far to one side. A lot of political stuff is covered there. Things that are too hot for TV, we'll throw in there. And including the tactical story we were talking about earlier, the big rumor that was out there that we can't confirm or anything. So just take it with the biggest grain of salt you got. It's on there. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you got to go to marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for the show and scroll down to that web-only content. It'll be the last article on there right before the callers. And all the caller information is there too. So when you guys get there, make sure if you're looking for the Alfa Romeo logo or any of the other stuff, it should all be there. And if it's not, it will be there in just a moment because it's getting refreshed at this moment. So head over to marfooglenews.com. Adam, you can probably refresh and see it. Yep, there you go. So it's all there, everything you're looking for.
And remember that is a plethora of information over there. You can go to the search bar in the upper right-hand corner and you can search anything. Tonight, I suggested Deagle. If you search Deagle in that upper right-hand corner, you will find... Boom, look at this. Deagle's last words, everything we know, right there. And then, once you click on that, all of our sources and everything we archived for that show... So here's a great example. This is now over a year ago. All of our sources are archived. This is the work we put in that people actually do find extremely useful. They can search any keyword. Again, this is something that you can name a few others that may put some stuff in the description, but we go above and beyond so you can archive and go through all of our sources from here all the way back to when we started. So again, everybody, appreciate you, love you. Thank you for those who appreciate this, and thank you for those who use it. Have a great night. I appreciate all of your support, and if I did miss anybody, I apologize. Everything kind of fell apart when we got kicked off. I would highly recommend going back and looking at the stories that you're not allowed to talk about. Have a good night, guys. It's now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout-out. It's a shoutro. Everybody gonna hear me now. I'm down in the tier 5, going right down, and everybody everybody know. Hell, when they go, Junior is the director, no, not anymore. When they up on low, bring it up and bring it down, 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 Ronnie McKee, I love it. No, for the voice, 90 the face, again, big. Any line, no, any there, we go in the 6 days, if it moves, everybody know, dude. Hey, dude, that's a bar. Matthew, Ross, still Rossi, Ross. Dog Pastor 303. Everybody gonna be listening. Why does the news lie? I always wonder why does the news lie? I always wonder why does the news always wonder why does the lie? I always wonder why I always wonder why